one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have roll call. John Matthews.
Here.
Gary Bukowski.
Here.
Mark Denny.
Here.
Alex Tomorrow is absent. Wolf Smith.
Here.
Rocky Hempel.
Here.
Tom Dials.
Here.
Jeff Spink.
Here.
And I'm present. Steve Rosenthal. 8 members present. Do we have a motion on last month's minutes?
So moved. Second.
Wolf Smith makes a motion, and John Matthews second to approve the minutes from that's November's meeting. This year went by, didn't it? Any further discussion? None. Have roll call vote. John Matthews.
Yes.
Gary Bukowski.
Yes.
Mark Danny.
Abstain.
Alex Morrow. Wolf Smith.
Yes.
Rocky Hempel.
Yes.
Tom Dials.
Yes.
Well, you're going to abstain because you weren't here.
Okay, I abstain.
Jeff
read
Spink.
Yes.
And I'm going to abstain. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 2. Okay, Secretary's report.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, we have 2 cases on the agenda this evening. One of those cases is on the consent agenda, so when you approve the agenda, you will be approving that case. The other is a preliminary and final plat for the Linwood Elementary School. The second item under the regular agenda has been continued until January, so we'll just be hearing the one item this evening. I don't have anything other than that.
Okay. Do I have a motion on the minutes?
So moved. Second.
We'll make a motion. And
No,
we'll
Rocky.
second- Rocky, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I second.
Yep, I did it right. I just said it wrong. And remember, the one is on the consent agenda, so by approving the agenda, that one's automatically approved. So, is there any discussion? Roll call vote. John Matthews.
Yes.
Gary Bukowski.
Yes.
Mark Denny.
Yes.
Wolf Smith.
Yes.
Rocky Hempel.
Yes.
Tom Dials.
Can I vote or abstain?
You can vote on that one.
Yes.
Jeff Spink.
Yes.
And I vote yes, so motion carries 8-0. Okay. Any declarations? Okay. Start off with case DEV 20-107 and 108, Linwood South Elementary School. Consideration of the preliminary and final plat for Linwood South Elementary School on the tract of land in the southwest corner of the southwest 1/4 of Section 32, Township 11 South, Range 22 East, up to 6 p.m. in Linwood County, Kansas, also known as 00000 Linwood Road. Request submitted by Schlegel and Associates. This is not a public hearing item. Staff report.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. This is case number DEV-20-107108, a request for preliminary and final plat for preliminary and final plat for Linwood South Elementary School. As you can see, the property is located there at the intersection of Stillwell and Linwood Road. As I'm sure many of you are very well aware, that area is zoned as rural residential 2.5. According to the table of uses, schools, educational institutions are allowed in that particular zoning district. As many of you, again, probably are aware, the Basehor Linwood School District has experienced pretty significant growth in recent years and expects to continue growing. As such, they have identified a need for another elementary school. This elementary school is being located in order to serve the families in the southern part of their school district. The site is approximately 20 acres. The building will be situated in the southern portion of the lot on the westerly side. They will have commercial lagoons, of course. This will not be on a typical septic system by any stretch of the imagination, and sanitary sewer is obviously not available there. Those lagoons are regulated by KDHE, and all inspections will be done through KDHE, which the applicants are perfectly well aware of. There will be a new roadway, 178th Street, that will come off of Stillwell Road. This will be used to service the school. The new roadway does not currently meet the access management policy, which requires it to be 1,300 feet away. However, the submitted traffic study indicates that the location of 178th Street will not be adverse to the health, safety, and welfare of the general public in that area. So they are asking for an exception to that policy. Staff is generally supportive of that exception. There also is a request for the driveway, the driveway into the school, which will come off of 178th Street. That driveway will also not meet the access management policy. Again, their traffic study indicates that there will not be substantial stacking. So they're asking for an exception to that section of the policy also. And again, staff is generally supportive based upon their engineer's recommendation. The site has been the plat and the traffic study, the photometric study, the site plan. All of these items have been thoroughly reviewed by the engineering consultant, by my office, by our public works office. There are not any outstanding items any longer. The applicants they're also requesting one other exception. One of the requirements of our zoning and subdivision regulations is for total screening of a parking lot. That obviously is not very safe given that this is a school. Staff is certainly supportive of the request to waiver to that particular regulation. By and large, everything is in order here. The State Fire Marshal's office has signed off on this according to what has been submitted to them. Of course, they'll do an inspection prior to any occupancy. KDOT has also given a conditional letter of approval for the intersection there at Stillwell and Linwood Road. Mr. Brewer will be able to speak more to that end, but we have that information from KDOT. Currently, they're asking for the realignment of Stillwell Road. Within their letter, they certainly state that if there needs to be additional improvements, that's something that could come up later. However, currently there have not been any additional improvements needed. The applicants did provide an area on the site for an emergency warning system, which was requested from the Emergency Management Department. The applicants, staff recommends approval of this. The applicants are here and will answer any questions that you may have. I don't see the need to belabor the point by any stretch of the imagination. But if you have any questions, let me know.
178th Street, it's going to be a new road. It's
Correct,
going to be a dead-end road, I understand.
Yeah.
It's being built to county standards, I'm assuming.
Yes.
And asphalt, I'm sure.
Yes, it's being built to county standards.
Yeah, and is the applicant doing the road, or is the county doing the road?
It will be the responsibility of the applicant.
Applicant, I figured that.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yes.
Where is that road going to intersect it? So we're going to intersect with 32 or Stillwell?
Stillwell, yes. Stillwell.
On Stillwell.
So there will not be direct access to the school off of K32. It will come off K32 onto Stillwell and onto 178th Street.
So there should be no traffic issues.
Their traffic study indicates that there won't be stacking issues.
Any other questions of staff? Thank you. Would the applicant please come forward?
Good evening. Do I have a time limit?
Since you're the only one here, go ahead.
Okay. Sometimes you don't want to give a superintendent all night long to talk because they will.
I regret that.
No, I'll be brief.
Give your name and address.
I'm sorry. David Howard, Superintendent Basehor Linwood, and I reside at 14206 Amanda Lane in Basehor, Kansas. Back in 2018, the Board of Education, USD 458 Board of Education, passed a bond issue to build 2 new elementary schools, an early child center, and in addition to our middle school. We are experiencing significant growth in that section of the county. Our student population growth has grown about 3 to 3.5% per year over the last several years. So I've been there 14 years. We had approximately 1,800 kids when I arrived 14 years ago in 2007, and we are at about 28, pushing 2,900 students now. So big growth, obviously, you know that, going on the south end of the county. When we had our work sessions discussing location of elementary schools, we had some Linwood parents in attendance that came to every one of those meetings. One of them several of them all spoke about equity. Our growth is not at the very southern end of our county. Our growth is actually happening in and around Basehor, particularly the Glenwood Ridge area as well. And so as we start talking, we already have land at Glenwood Ridge, but as the board had discussion, they said let's look for some property that is outside the city limits of Linwood. There was an issue with water pressure within the city of Linwood where we would have to build our own holding storage facility for water to meet the state fire marshal requirements. So we looked for a piece of property, and obviously you have to look at what property is available. It had to be close to water, so we selected that site at 178th and Stillwell, or K32 and Stillwell, I'm sorry. KDOT has, again, given conditional approval. We still have a few more hoops to jump through there. But we have approval from KDHE for the lagoon. We have state fire marshal approval. We're working with the county on fire flow. That's been taken care of. So that's a little bit of the history of that location and why we chose that. Again, we think this location will pull some of that growth that's occurring in and around Glenwood Ridge down to that area. A lot of our patrons work in Kansas City or in the KC Metro, and so childcare and some of those things are available east and not west from that location. So anyway, I'll stand to answer any questions. With me tonight, I should introduce them, but I have Gordon Kimball and Brent Higgins from HTK, who are architects on this job, and we also have Mark Brewer from Schlegel and Associates, who I'm sure you are aware of. So,
You want any of those to speak?
yeah, if there are technical questions about this, I'm going to let Mr. Brewer handle it. But if anybody has any questions for me as far as location or I would say.
Are you eliminating any schools, or you just is the elementary in Linwood, is that going to be eliminated, or?
That school will still be there. It won't be an elementary school at that time. So we have a lot of other special education services that we're talking about moving to that location. But this new elementary school, it's actually, we already have it named. It is Linwood Elementary School, and it's about 3.5 miles outside of town.
All right. Well, if any of your other members of the team want to speak, you're welcome to do it.
I can give a little background. Are there questions or anything? I guess.
We have any questions? No. It was a big packet and a lot to read. We all read it.
One of the questions I had was, what is the capacity of this school as far as students?
I'm going to have Gordon help me. I believe it's 300? 432. I'm way off. 432, and that's if it aligns perfectly. There's three sections per grade level, so kindergarten through 5th grade, so there will be at least 18 regular classrooms and then special ed classrooms, et cetera, on top.
What is the enrollment down there at the school at Linwood?
At Linwood right now, it's about 100.
And so you're expecting them to bring them in from other areas
yes.
also?
Yeah, we'll have to pull some off Glenwood Ridge. I will tell you, enrollment at Glenwood Ridge last year was about 390 students, and that's really at capacity right there, and we don't really have any additional spot to build there or add on to that building. So our hope is to redraw those boundaries and push some of those kids to the south to the new Linwood Elementary School.
Can you predict what type of ratio between, say, school buses and parents bringing kids to school?
You know, we had some of that in that traffic study. I will tell you right now, there's only 2 buses that go to Linwood Elementary.
Okay.
And so right now we talked about that, but as we design all of these buildings, our architects are really good at making sure we have plenty of space to stack buses or line up buses. We also, obviously, if you've ever experienced a school drop-off pickup, you know that there can be some stacking issues there, but we really have addressed that in the design of that parking lot and so on, so we can double stack through there to keep them off the road.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Anybody on their team? All right.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much for your time.
Is there any additional information to be presented?
Yes, sir.
Are there any questions or comments, commissioners? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I have a motion.
Did we get any feedback from, I can't remember, from the city of Mesa?
No, this is not within their urban growth area.
So we didn't even ask because
No.
it wasn't in there. Okay.
No.
Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion. I make a motion that we approve case number DEV 20-107 and 108 per the staff recommendations.
That's your motion?
You second it?
I'll second. Or did you do it? Okay.
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor, the second, to approve case number DEV 20-107 and 108 at Linwood Elementary School, the preliminary and final plat. Is there any further discussion? Have a roll call vote. John Matthews?
Yes.
Harry Bukowski?
Yes.
Mark Nenny?
Yes.
Wolf Smith?
Yes.
Rocky Hempel?
Yes.
Tom Dials?
Yes.
Jeff Spink?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion carries 8.
Oh, we can
Zero.
make a motion.
I didn't have a sheet up there.
Motion was carried. The Board of County Commissioners will consider this item at 9 a.m. on December 23rd, 2020.
I didn't do it the proper way.
Anything else?
Sure.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.